Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. We did have to pre-record this webinar due to some illness in our office, so feel free to comment on our LinkedIn post or on our YouTube channel with any questions that you have, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So my name is Bianca. I'm the marketing generalist here at 9Minds, and this is Robert, our founder and CEO. So Robert, you can give a little bit of background information about yourself.
Hey, Bianca. So yes, I'm Robert, CEO of 9Minds. 9Minds is a Tampa AI company, and we specialize in helping MSPs, managed service providers, to solve their ticketing problems. And ticketing problems, from our perspective, are the fact that engineers at MSPs have to be super sophisticated. They have to know everything about everything. They have a lot of issues coming at them throughout the day. And they usually have MSPs usually have one or two subject matter experts at their locations that are kind of the source of knowledge for everyone at the company. And what we want to do is we want to take some of that expertise and plug it into a helpful assistant and make that available to everyone at the MSP to help them to answer tickets easier, faster, and and all those things.
Yeah, that's awesome. So as you know, 9Minds obviously revolves around fighting ticket fatigue. So can you just kind of explain how this issue is really plaguing the IT industry at the moment?
Yeah, so help desk is a stressful job. You might have long swaths where there's not a lot going on, and then suddenly some very high impact items will come your way. Customers are under stress. They need your attention quickly. In addition to that, a lot of MSPs have a high ticket volume, and the people who are working help desk are expected to be kind of on their game all 8 hours of the day, at least, and available to answer every question that comes in. And actually, it takes a toll on you having to do that. And so that's really how we think of ticket fatigue. It's just the kind of grind that you are under when you're working in these help desk positions.
Yeah, definitely. So, obviously, our main solution to ticket fatigue here is Alga, the free extension. So let me go ahead and open up ConnectWise and just demonstrate it a bit. So what's super convenient about Alga is that you can go to the Chrome Web Store and download it. It's an extension. It fits right in with your PSA system, and it's super easy to use. You don't have to download a bunch of software to use it. You don't have to spend a bunch of time calibrating it or whatever. You download it and you go. You enable the extension and you go. You can use it right away, and it's free, which is always a plus. So how it works is, as long as you have the extension downloaded and enabled, you open a ticket, then she should pop right up. She'll give you a title for the ticket. She'll categorize it for you, and she'll give a summary of the ticket notes. And then if you click on this life icon right here, then it'll actually generate insights on how to actually resolve the ticket. She'll give you steps on how to do so. So yeah, it's pretty useful for technicians if you ask me. But if you click on this blue octopus icon over here, it'll actually generate a client-ready response. You can use it or edit it, based on your discretion. But yeah, that's Alga free in a nutshell. So what's really cool is that, Alga can recognize human and customer sentiment. So how exactly is she able to do that?
So we actually read the conversation on the ticket, and we can see all of the details from the customer and the agent, how they're responding, how they're interacting, and we can actually look at that information and look to see how the customer is responding, and can really tell the sentiment of the customer, or in other words, how they feel you're doing with the service ticket. So if there is a ticket where the customer is experiencing some dissatisfaction, we can tell that. And in the pro version of Alga, you can actually ask about tickets and have it tell you what the sentiment is of the tickets that you have in your system.
That's awesome. So Alga, the extension was, really just the beginning. Robert, do you want to pull up Alga Pro on your screen and kind of explain the gist of it and what it can do for MSPs?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And before I do that, let me also mention that the extension is completely free, and even better than that, it's kind of just plug and play. So if you're an MSP and you want to give it a shot, you don't have to send us any data. We don't even ask for your email address. You can just install the extension and open up ConnectWise, open up a ticket, and it'll start to give you advice and give you summaries and titles and categories and responses and all those good things. So all of that is really, really super simple to get started and try. There's really no reason not to. But if you need more, then the pro version is our attempt to take the data that MSPs have and kind of surface it. So MSPs have tons of data. Many MSPs are decades old. That's not uncommon in the MSP industry. They have thousands of tickets, and there's a lot of knowledge stored in those tickets. And unfortunately, that knowledge is often only really accessible in the minds of those subject matter experts that we were talking about before. The one or two really, really long-standing employees that know everything about everything. That's where a lot of that information is, and we want to kind of surface that information for everyone that works at the company, and to bring that that knowledge out of all those data sources and make it available. So let me show it to you. This is Alga Pro. This is our chat interface. And with this interface, you can chat with your tickets. You can ask questions about the tickets that have come in. You can ask for summaries. You can ask for resolution details. You can ask for advice. This really kind of brings the MSP's data and surfaces it to them, and really takes Alga to the next level. So let me ask a question here. Say, show me 5 recent printer tickets about printers. All right, so this is a cognitive search. So we can pull back information about, in this case, printer tickets, even if the word printer doesn't appear in the ticket at all, because we can kind of search cognitively rather than by keywords.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's ask a follow-up question. Let's see. Tell me more about the color laser all-in-one install. Okay, so we're going to go out and we're going to find information on that ticket, and then we get a summary, and she'll provide us information about what's happened on the ticket. So that can save you a lot of time, not having to go out and read all the details on the ticket and come up with and follow maybe quite a bit of back and forth. But you can always ask additional questions as well. In this case, we could ask for more information on this particular type of printer, how we can set up. It looks like it's a network setup. Maybe ask for advice on how to do network configuration. Let's ask for a response that we can send back to the customer. Can you write up a response that I can send back to the customer? And in that case, we get a response right away.
That's
So
awesome.
there's a lot you can do with this. It's pretty powerful. It's really exciting for us to bring this. This was the original vision for the Alga product, so it's really exciting to see this come to fruition.
Yeah, definitely. Alga seems, super versatile. So basically, any MSP can use it and just, tailor it to their own needs. So, if they specialize in a certain industry of IT, they can ask her to pull up tickets regarding specific technical issues of, in that industry that they deal with. And it's all their own tickets, and they can really take that information and just learn from it. So it's really useful. But
Yeah, that's
Rob,
what's fascinating about these large language models, is that they have been trained on everything on the internet. So
mhm.
it's really interesting, because MSPs, they're technology providers, technology solutions providers, but they often work in specific niches. So some MSPs are, work in the automotive industry or the legal industry or in dentist offices. A lot of MSPs have kind of their specialty. And so one great thing about this technology is that it also understands the industry that they work in. So I wouldn't necessarily take dental advice from Alga, but it can answer questions about the industry that the MSP works into.
Yeah, that's awesome. Robert, what would you say? How is Alga different from other competitor, generic AIs and like ChatGPT?
Yeah, so I think that you gave a little bit of a hint there. So if something is generic and they're pretty good at everything, they're not great at anything. And I think that's really the opportunity for us is to take our background. I worked at ConnectWise for 16 years. I got to see a lot of these pain points that customers had. ConnectWise itself was an MSP. So when in the early days when we were building it for ourselves. So I'm kind of familiar with a lot of the pain points we were trying to solve then. And this technology just allows us to do things that just were not possible before. So it's really exciting. I think in a lot of ways, MSPs are kind of uniquely suited to AI technology. I mean, they need just the wealth of knowledge that you need to have to run an MSP, to be that technology expert for your community, essentially. That's a tall order, and that's really what we're trying to do.
Yeah, definitely. So, understandably, many MSPs are concerned about how their data is going to be used when it comes to using tools like ours. Can you just expand on our policy when it comes to data security a little bit?
Yeah, a lot of the training has already been done on our models. What we do here is we create content in-house internally with a team of content writers to train our model, and we do not use any customer data to train any model. So nothing that you ever send to us will be used and will show up in someone's answer somewhere. That's not how we train the models. So and it's not something that anyone has to worry about as far as that's concerned. So that should put some minds at ease. I know that some other providers, you have to buy the enterprise version of ChatGPT, for example, before they'll, offer not to take a look at your data. So you kind of get that automatically with Alga.
Yeah, definitely. I would say so too. So when it comes to benefits to the MSPs, a couple that come to my mind are obviously, reducing response times and possibly reducing even training costs since Alga is basically, virtual IT mentor. Are there any others that you can think of that you think, Alga is beneficial to MSPs with?
Yeah, I think it starts at the happiness of the engineer. If we're making their job a little bit easier, if we're making we're making it possible for them to stay creative, stay out of the fight or flight mode, reduce their stress, to just kind of offer them a little bit of assistance as needed, then I think that everything good flows from there. I think that your company's profitability will go up, you'll hit your SLAs, your ticket response times will go down, your employee retention will be better. These are tools. Often, I speak with different press outlets, and they wonder if engineers are afraid of this technology. That's kind of one of the things that people like to talk about, which is people being afraid that the AIs are going to take jobs. But my experience is that people are very using these tools, and it just kind of makes work a little bit better. Like we were mentioning before, the ticket fatigue is real. Working on the same thing all day long is very difficult. People want to remain creative. That's why they got into this business in the first place. They love the technology. They don't love categorizing tickets and thinking of the correct title for tickets and writing responses back, necessarily. That's not where they want to focus their time. So we want to keep those engineers creative and happy. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. I assume that, helping them shift from all those rudimentary tasks that they do every day to helping them do what they actually want to do definitely helps reduce not only short-term stress but like long-term burnout too. So for their entire careers, hopefully it'll be helpful for them.
Yeah.
So what is the value of Alga to the MSP's clients? How can she benefit them too, not just the MSPs?
Well, right off the bat, when we do a good job at helping the engineer does a better job at helping the customer. So the customers will be happy to see that. Also, perhaps in the future, there is the possibility that maybe that technology that went into Alga could be used and deployed down to the customer as well. So it's something we're thinking about. How do we make that technology available as maybe a first line support that an MSP could offer their customers? Maybe they run it as an agent on the desktop, or maybe there's some other aspect to it. But how do you reduce the ticket volume? How do you further improve customer response times? That's what we're thinking about constantly.
Right. That's awesome. How do you envision Alga transforming the IT industry kind of as a whole?
Well, we got to stay humble. So we have our small piece of we have our small area where we're operating in. But I guess if I'm going to dream big, I'm hoping that we can have a little bit of the impact that I had previously at ConnectWise, where we are able to really improve the productivity of a lot of engineers, make people's jobs easier. The MSP space, if you look at kind of all of the ways that it affects the American economy, I think it touches 80% of the U.S. economy. Really, this is the backbone of IT in the country. So if we can do a good job, then we can have a really high impact, and that's really what creative people want to do with their lives. We want to have a large impact and make a difference.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know I've heard this story a couple of times, but a lot of people do want to know, how did you come up with Alga and the whole idea behind it?
So I came up with Alga because I worked at ConnectWise, like I mentioned before, for quite a while. And I saw all the problems that MSPs had there. Like I mentioned, ConnectWise itself was an MSP. And it was a really natural way to take this technology and use it for something that could just flat out couldn't be done before. So I went and I spoke to Arnie Bellini, which is my partner in this company, and we just talked about the possibilities. And this was prior to ChatGPT. So yeah, we were just so excited by the possibilities here that we just had to do it, and we ended up calling it Nine Minds because we're kind of aquatic. Is fan the right word? I don't think that's the right word, but in Florida, everyone has to be kind of love the aquatic life, and the octopuses are so interesting. Cephalopods are interesting in general. They are smart. They're as smart as a mammal, smart as dogs and cats, but they're completely different, completely different animals. And they actually have 9 brains. They have a brain in each of their tentacles, and they have a main brain. And they're really just kind of interesting alien creatures. And that's kind of how I see the AIs. In the same way, they're different, but they're similar to us in some ways.
Definitely. It's a fun one. Anyway, and now thinking a little bit more into the future, what would you say the what's on the agenda for the next 6 months, next year, 2 years for Nine Minds?
Yeah. So for the next few months, we are going to take that chat interface and we're going to move into the extension. What we would like to do is just give you all the information you need automatically every time you open a ticket. We want to tell you if there were other similar tickets, how they were resolved, what you should do, and allow you to ask further questions, follow-up questions. Really, we want to help you without you even having to ask us to. We really want the engineer to look over at our screen, at our extension as the first thing they do with every ticket that they are working on. So that's really the next few months. After that, we have a lot of plans. We want to extend to additional MSP PSAs, other products like Halo PSA and Autotask, and additional types of data sources like your IT glues of the world, your documentation systems, your wikis, things like that. Just bring all that data together and make it accessible, and add intelligence to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we've got a lot of exciting things coming up here at Nine Minds, so I'm excited to see it. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We're sad that we can't answer your questions in person, but again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment on our LinkedIn event post or on our YouTube post, and we will answer you as soon as we get to it. So thank you all, and thank you, Robert, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks. Bye.